Hi, I'm Alan Douglas. Welcome to my studio. In this video I'm going to do something a little different. I'm going to share some of my thoughts on what goes into deciding what kind of frame to put on a finished painting. This painting is called Frog Prince. Let's get started. So there are many different thoughts on how to go about framing a piece. I generally like to think of it as a case-by-case basis, and I try to select a frame that really picks something out of the painting itself, color-wise and value-wise, that really complements the piece. Sometimes I'll get more inexpensive frames at a local store, sometimes I'll order them online, sometimes I will go to a custom framer up the street. This one I happened to find at a local store. And what I was looking for was a darker value frame than the overall value pattern of the painting itself. And I found some other ones that were okay, but they were too warm. The brown was too warm. It kind of skewed towards the orange side a little too much. And I really wanted to play off kind of this raw umber color of the belly of the frog. And so this particular brown kind of skews towards kind of the raw umber greenish side of things, and yet was still very dark, so that the overall kind of lighter colors of the composition would really pop out of a darker frame. And I generally, since a lot of my work is animal based these days, I tend to want to choose frames that are not overly rustic, but kind of skew towards more of an earthy feel. So I'm going to show you a couple other paintings that will really help you understand my decision making along the way when I'm choosing frames. This painting is called Mr. Jackalope, and this particular frame I did get done at a local frame shop. Now, one of the things that I try to do is, like I mentioned, pick a color brown that relates to the painting itself. Now, this isn't necessarily a very dark value brown, so it wouldn't pop the painting out as much if I didn't have this liner, which kind of creates a slim separating border from the painting itself. And if you look closely, I picked a liner that kind of has a spiky feel to it, which also plays off the feeling of the cactus in the painting itself. Let me zoom in a little bit on the frame itself so you can see what I mean. So you can see right in here the spiky nature of the liner itself. This painting is called Ashfall, and you can start to see kind of the pattern of my thinking with the colors that relate to the painting itself. In this case, it's more of a silverish grayish tone to play off the grays and greenish tones in the painting itself. And this particular frame also kind of includes the that slim value separation that I always look for between the painting itself and the frame. This frame I got online, which is always a little bit tricky because what you do is you upload a JPEG of the painting and you just go through a lot of different frames that they offer and try to get one that works well. And so far I've had pretty good luck with all of the frames that I've chosen. So again, you can see the color of the frame really plays off of the colors within the painting itself. The other thing is, with a bigger painting like this, I always try to pick one that's probably at least 3 inches wide. Basically, the general rule of thumb that I go by is the bigger the painting, the wider I want that frame to be. This painting is called Godmother, and because of the subject matter of the painting, I wanted a lighter value frame to kind of give it an overall lighter feel, and as well as kind of a classy, elegant vibe. So I picked this kind of silver frame that plays off of the colors in the painting, but it also has a little bit of a rosy shimmer to it. I also picked a liner for this one that is a rust-colored rustic feel, which plays off of kind of this section of the painting here, where I'm using some of those rusty colors in the flowers, and it repeats here in the liner. So overall, there's not a huge value transition between frame and overall color scheme of the painting, but I think it works pretty well, in my opinion anyway. Let me zoom in so you can see kind of the rosy colors of the silver frame as well as the liner that I chose. The last painting I'm going to show you is called Parliament Bell, and same thing applies to this, but what I really wanted to show you was the liner I chose here. I specifically chose to play off of the metallic feeling of the bell. So it's a very dark frame and an overly dark painting, but the key is the value of the frame is a step darker than almost all of the darks in the painting, and the liner plays off of an element within the painting. So yes, you could do your framing and just pick standard black frames, but I think it's more interesting if you really pay attention to the subtle colors in the painting itself and the value pattern, and then pick a frame corresponding to that. One last thing I'll mention is, yes, you should pick something within the painting to play off of, but pick something that is not completely dominant within the painting. Pick something that is secondary so that the frame has a bit of contrast with the painting itself. I don't know if that makes sense, but you know, I wouldn't pick a straight up green frame for this one, because the green coupled with the green of the painting would be too much. It'd be too much green. So you need some contrast between the frame and what's happening in the painting. But like I said, do pay attention to what's happening in the painting and find something a little secondary to play off of. That's my opinion anyway. You can choose to frame your pieces however you want. I just wanted to share what goes through my head when I am choosing a frame for a painting. Thanks for watching.